The century underneath the ocean. Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about One Piece chapter 1115. And this chapter revealed one of the biggest secrets in the world of One Piece, and some theories confirmed and others left to be discovered. Before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. The place to begin in all of this is the fact that it stated that the 20 kings had a fight with Joy Boy, and Joy Boy was the ancient kingdom that basically fought for the freedom of the world. He was known as a pirate even before then, and the world government or the 20 kings labeled themselves as justice, and while everybody that opposed them were pirates. Pirates existed way back before the Void Century, and I guess that tradition is still on. And when we look at it, of how the world has been submerged underwater, it explains a lot of things. It explains how so many things goes down the bottom of the ocean, how Shandora went to the sky. If there was something in the sky that was taken up from the world, there was obviously something down. And with sea levels rising, we've seen that with the use of the mother flame. This created a current that basically raised the sea levels, and it was a foreshadowing of what happened 800 years ago. And I think now it makes perfect logical sense. How could the world government erase 1,000 years of history, or even before that, erase such an advanced civilization without the world even knowing about it? The only feasible way of doing it is either destroy whatever it was and complete mass destruction, which I believe was entirely possible even for that time because of how advanced technology were. And then you have the other option, which is to basically submerge everything underwater so that no one would ever figure it out. I think this thing has been foreshadowed even in Wano, when we got to know that Pluton was underneath the ocean, or how Wano was basically submerged underwater and the thing above it is what exists of it now. I think it should have been our first hint as to what the world government was planning to stay in power, and now it makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about the ancient weapon. From what I understood and from what I know of the ancient weapons, I like to believe that the ancient weapons were weapons used by the ancient kingdom to defeat the world government that had powers of mass destruction, and it helped to fight against the world government. But this chapter shows otherwise. The world government used some sort of an ancient weapon or technology that helped them to get the upper hand of getting the world submerged underwater, while they themselves stayed atop the red line, which gives them the most high ground. No puns intended, by the way. But it makes sense as to why the world government would choose the red line over everything else. The reason why the Lunarians were extinct and kicked out from their location was because I think the world government was planning this to begin with. I'm not saying Im-sama was there. Maybe she was. Maybe he or maybe they were. Maybe Im-sama did exist. And Im-sama has been orchestrating this entire plan for more than over 1,000 years. And because of that, they were able to decide where their optimal location was, which is above the red line. That would give them the most high point. Even though the whole world would be submerged underwater, they would be unaffected. And the only ones left victorious, who will basically never be harmed, is the world government. And I think it goes to show again, the rising sea levels and Im-sama's attempt at trying to destroy everything and try to submerge the world underwater. I think it's still going on, and I'd like to believe that the ancient weapons, even though the world government fears the resurrection of the ancient weapons, I like to believe there were a few of them. Amongst the three, maybe there were more that the world government had that went against the ancient kingdom and were able to do all of these things. What does it signify about the world in the future? I'm not really sure. Fishman Island is way down. Luffy's task as Joy Boy, the Warrior of Liberation, has basically gone from defeating the world government to stopping whatever this is. From what Vegapunk has said, this is not a natural disaster, it is man-made. The ticking time bomb for Luffy, I think, has begun. At first, I thought the ticking time bomb was nature in and of itself. How was Luffy going to stop the nature from submerging the world he cares about underwater? But now when we realize it, when we see it, it is definitely a man-made disaster and the only way for the world government to stay in power. And if the world government, or Im-sama specifically, is planning the same thing again, and the 1,000-year-long war is still going on, versus the 20 kings and Joy Boy, I think the world government would try to do it again, and Luffy's time bomb, from what I can see by the end of the series, would be to stop Im-sama from using that weapon so that the world doesn't get submerged underwater and Luffy gets to save everyone he cares about. That's from whatever we understood in the chapter. And as for how much more Vegapunk would say, I'd like to believe that there's a lot more to be talked about regarding the remnants of the Void Century. In fact, a little more hints about Joy Boy in and of itself. And maybe there is some way for the world to discover what was there in the ancient history of the Void Century, that there is something there, there is a weapon there. Maybe Uranus is that weapon that helps Luffy and the others get back the civilization that was taken away from them. Although the poneglyphs do exist, a lot of the evidences that are still buried underneath the ocean floor needs to be taken out of the world for the world to see that there was definitely a world beyond what we see now, where people existed and they were fighting for freedom. And I think the last remaining ancient weapon that we have yet to know about is the one Luffy needs to basically save the world from another destruction, another flood, another submerging underwater. There's a lot to talk about, but I think I've summarized everything I needed to say. I need more time to think about more things that could be discussed. But that's it for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. How much power the world government holds of doing that cleansing again, and if that cleansing whether that cleansing is actually submerging the world underwater again, or is it something completely different, and how much of it the world government has done and how much more they can do. That's it for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day and peace.